Hello everyone and welcome to my kitchen. This is My Hobby Home, Eat to Live. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be making a chicken recipe. I have my chicken prepared, cleaned, trimmed, patted off, dried. It's called the Creamy Keto Chicken Casserole. So first thing we're going to do, you prepare your chicken, you trim it, you clean it. In the next step, we're going to be adding our spices. Okay, so here I have you turned down. What we are going to do is make our seasoning mix. This is salt to taste. I'll start out with 1 spoon of that. Pepper to taste. We'll do the same thing. We'll do equal parts. And it says ground paprika, 1 teaspoon. I have smoky ground paprika, so I will just add 1 spoon of that. Let's make sure that's not chunky there. Has a few little clumps in it. We're just going to mix that up. Now we will also need to have grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to push this up and move my cheese grater around. I am just using the Frigio. I'm reading what it has in it. Parmesan cheese, which is cultured, pasteurized part skim milk, salt, and enzymes. And see if it says how much. It says half a cup. So 1/4 cup for the chicken. So we have to have half a cup, 1/4 cup for chicken, and 1/4 cup for the sauce. So I am just going to get going on this. And y'all, anything you see in my videos that I can link will be down in the description. Now things like my plates cannot be, because those quit being produced probably 50 years or so ago. And I just keep rolling that cheese out of the way. Now the Parmesan, I know I like a smaller grated Parmesan, so I'm doing some of both. Get that and throw that away, because I'm just going to go ahead and grate this whole thing. Since it's such a small amount, I'm using this instead of my food processor. I'm making the thicker ones for the sauce. But it doesn't really matter, because what I don't use will go in a bowl in the freezer for the next time. Or a Ziploc. I do have reusable Ziplocs. They're not Ziploc brand. But I do like using them to put cheese in the freezer. Okay, now that I have my cheese grated, what I am going to do is start with 1 piece of chicken. And I am going to sprinkle it. Let me go on in. I have my chicken hand and my spice hand. So I'm not cross-contaminating here. Let's go on and sprinkle this all over. And I will rub it in there. Ooh, I just about did it. We are going to turn these over. And sprinkle the remaining on here. It's not going to matter now, because I'm not touching anything else before I wash my hands real good. Now we have one side really seasoned, and what I'm going to do is put these chicken breasts in a skillet. My skillet is hot over here with grease. Now, while we are waiting on the chicken to brown on both sides, I have prepared some garlic, and I have my diced onions here. I keep these in my freezer. They are a small diced onion. I do keep those on hand. It's really nice to have that on hand, so it's real simple and easy to make a recipe come out. So I am going to be checking on the chicken. Once that is done, I will put it in my saute dish. I will get this dish over there, but you will see this right here, right there. That's my bacon grease. It is rendered out bacon grease. We are checking this chicken for doneness here. That one's not quite ready. That one feels ready. I'm going to turn it over just to get a little bit more browning on that. Cooking out a little bit of that fat there. Now this is going to go in the oven. So what I'm going to do is take these cooked breasts and put them in my casserole dish here. Making sure this one is, yeah, that one is done. Make sure they'll all fit in here. Now that we have our chicken out, we need to add 1/4 teaspoon is what it said, but I like a lot of garlic. And it calls for 2.8 ounces of onions. I'm just going to throw 2 handfuls of onions in there. Let that be sauteing. And as that is sauteing, I am going to show you my chicken broth. This is a homemade chicken broth. You will probably see that it is congealed. I'm going to set that right there on the oven top so it can be uncongealing, I guess. Turning back into liquid. This is a chicken broth that I made off of some chicken wings. And I boiled it down really good, trying to get all of the gelatinous stuff out of the bone, and it looks like I did a good job. So I'm going to let these saute in here for just a little bit, and then we will start constructing our casserole. Now that our onions and garlic are sauteed down, we are going to add our mushrooms to this. Now, I will have this recipe down in the description. I will have the link of it, and it will tell you how much of everything you need. And I know for those that do not like mushrooms, just forego this. Don't put them in there if you don't like them, because you won't eat it if you do not like it. Now I'm going to stir these around just a little bit. I did wash these off and then pat them dry, and I had them sitting overnight in my fridge on a paper towel. So if they're a little ugly, that's why. Making sure these all get coated. And then I need to add just a little bit of salt to this to help help that cook down and wilt these mushrooms down. And this is why I like this big of a skillet, because I can put a lot of stuff in this skillet. I think I'm going to put just a little bit more bacon grease in there. Just because I like my mushrooms really sauteed good. And I see some pieces that aren't as coated as others, and this will fix that. Now, if you like mushrooms but don't like them in these big chunks, you can cut them smaller. You can even probably use jarred mushrooms. I don't see where that would hurt, because they are sliced. I did buy these pre-sliced in the produce section. So they were pre-sliced. So I washed them real well, and we will see what they turn out looking like. Now that our mushrooms are just about where we need them, we are going to add our other ingredients in this pan and cook it for another 2 to 3 minutes. Now, one thing that's not in this recipe that I did, I add right here, I added some frozen spinach. I added some frozen spinach to my chicken. We are going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of chicken broth, and that is just the fat. The yellow is. We're not going to worry about it. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and Parmesan cheese. So we are putting that much cheese. We are going to stir this in and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then we will add it to our casserole dish, making sure that cheese is good and mixed in there. And once we add this to our casserole dish, we will put it in the oven. I am going to go ahead and preheat my oven. So we have this going to be cooking for another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, our sauce has cooked for about 2 to 3 minutes. And what we will do is add it to our casserole dish. Oh, y'all, this is smelling yummy. Now, this is really hot right now. Oh, my goodness. I don't think I need my spurtle anymore. I'm going to take it and lay it over to the side there. Got my pot holders, and I am just going to, whoo, I splattered over. I didn't anticipate needing my spurtle to fish out a mushroom out of the pan, but we are going to spread those mushrooms. Oh my goodness, y'all, that smells so good. And I am going to take this dish, put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 350. I better remember to cover it, because it does say cook covered. So we are going to cover it. and put it in the oven. I will bring you right back as soon as it comes out. And here we have our casserole. I can hear it bubbling in there. Oh, it looks yummy. Okay, I think this is a smaller one. I want to get a smaller one. Here's a smaller one. Let's get a smaller chicken breast here. I'm going to grab some of these mushrooms. Going to leave that spoon right there. Now we are back. I went and got my Parmesan out of the freezer. I am going to just sprinkle a little bit of that on top. And I am going to cut me a small piece off this. Now remember, I did alter the recipe by not putting the Parmesan on the chicken when it cooked, and then putting spinach in the casserole dish. So here I have a bite. Now this is our keto creamy chicken casserole. That does have some really good flavor, y'all. It did call for nutmeg. I did not have nutmeg, so I did not put it in here. That is very, very good. It probably could do with a little bit more salt, but that is very, very good. So friends, thank you so much for joining me today to enjoy our creamy chicken casserole. This is definitely something easy to make. You can have all of the ingredients out of a jar, out of a can, and just throw it in the oven real quick. If you keep sauteed onions on hand, that would be great. I do like to keep things like that on hand. I just don't have it right now. But it's not unusual for me to have sauteed onions and mushrooms in my freezer just to thaw out and put on something. So guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Help my channel grow. Do leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you have a low carb, low sugar recipe you'd like me to try? Leave it in the comment. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.